Welcome to the Secret Underground Laboratory Recovery and Salvage, where rude mechanicals do magic. Hello, I'm Bronze Age, Director of the Secret Underground Laboratory Recovery and Salvage. And today we're at the lamp bench with a vintage student lamp. This is a replica of an oil lamp design, usually known as the student lamp. And reading has mostly been a daytime affair until fairly recently in human history, because oil lamps, candles, any other kind of flame-based illumination tends to throw the light on the ceiling and very little down on your page. With this lamp, what it would have would be a shade up on top which reflected light down onto the desk and made it possible for the student to burn the midnight oil. The oil tank would be over here, and it could be filled up and hold several hours worth of fuel, and then you could move it around, put it wherever you wanted to, take it from place to place. And they were a common fixture to be seen in homes and offices all throughout the 1800s, and then electric lights came along. People wanted something that looked old-timey, especially back in the coming up in the bicentennial in the 1970s, which this is sometime before then. I can tell by this plug having only both prongs are the same size. That's pre-mid-70s, maybe a little earlier. Older lamp cords are noticeably larger than the modern ones, and this can sometimes be a problem when you're trying to get it through small passageways and pipes and stuff like that. In the case of this one, in addition to the prongs being the same size, it's got some kind of damage right here where the copper's actually exposed. Probably got caught on a door or drawer or something like that. But even if it wasn't 70 years old, it would still have to be replaced. Up top we have a hickey socket, which has come completely loose and doesn't look that good on the inside either. On the other side, we have some vintage cigarette smoke. This is a tool made for changing bicycle tires, but it works well for this purpose as well. And sometimes you can get these cardboard pieces out without damaging them, and they can be reused, but sometimes you can't. No surprise here, just a wire going up the pipe. Got a cord protector here, which is still in good condition. I would like to see one here if we can get one on it, but that's not too much threads pointing out. Well, it's obvious this has been loose for quite some time. Whenever a lamp gets loose and wobbly, it's a natural instinct just to turn it and try and get it tight again. But in the case of this one, which had a key, which came out through this cup, and the cup is not loose, I really don't understand how they managed to get this cord twisted up like this. The great philosopher Mendacius of Boeotia said that when something doesn't make sense, it's because you lack information. And I have proven that maxim time and time again. This is a hickey socket. It's called a hickey socket because this piece on the bottom is called a hickey, and no one has any idea why it's called a hickey. It just is. And on most hickey sockets, the hickey is held on with a little small screw. And this allows you to install the hickey inside the lamp, wire the socket, and then pull it down and reattach it. And in this case, although it is a hickey socket, it's a different kind of hickey. I can get it out of here. Because this is a type of hickey that doesn't actually screw onto the bottom. It was held in with rivets. And that meant that once you wired it up, the only way to install it was to pull it back down and reverse the procedure that I'm doing right here, which would require you to simply twist the socket like that until you'd wound the wire up and had this piece tight down on the pipe. I have to say, a poor design. Now that I have all the grime scrubbed off of it, it's time to start putting it back together. That starts up here with the hickey, and I use the socket as a tool to install the hickey because it's really awkward trying to get down there with your fingers. And I'm going to use blue thread lock, a generous amount of it on the threads. And this stuff, once it cures in about 10 or 15 minutes, will hold the threads tight, because I have to rotate this until the key lines up. And that might not be where it is actually tightest. Fortunately, it's fairly snug and the key lines up just fine. Now I take the socket back out and I could run the cord. Pull enough through here, more than enough to get to the top. I'll tie a knot in the bottom of it. And this is so that in case someone trips over the cord in the dark, there's no possibility of these wires being pulled out from underneath the socket, which would leave 2 live wires inside of a steel lamp. Whoever goes to pick it up is in for a nasty surprise. And I can push it up through the bottom here, and with the help of dental picks, which I have a nice collection of them, I can grab the end of this wire. I'll need a different pick. There we go. This should do it. That should be enough. Before I push it down the arm, I'm going to put a little piece of shrink tubing over these loose ends, which will help prevent them from snagging as it comes up through that part right there. There we go. And that's the way it works when it works. Now I'm going to give the same sermon I give in every lamp video because it's just that important. Can't be left out. Lamp cord sold in North America has one side has smooth insulation, the other side has ridges. If you can't see them, you can actually feel them. All lamp sockets have one brass colored screw and one silver colored screw. And the side with the smooth insulation always goes to the brass colored screw. This goes through the switch and eventually to the center terminal in the socket. This is a safety measure because this smooth colored wire is called the hot wire. The ridged wire goes under the silver screw and it is connected directly to the socket shell. And the reason they do this is because, first off, modern plugs have one side wider than the other, so only go in the outlet one direction, and that keeps these wires going to the proper screw. Now with the hot wire going to the switch and the neutral wire, they're just words, both of them will shock you, goes to the shell, then if you happen to come into a dark room and you want to turn the light on, but they don't have a bulb in the socket, you might accidentally reach in here and stick your finger in here. And if this socket is wired correctly, touching the shell, which is hooked up to the neutral wire, will not shock you. If you want to get shocked, first off, the lamp's got to be plugged in, the switch has got to be on, and you've got to push your finger all the way to the bottom to touch the center terminal, which will be very painful, if not worse. So that's the way we do it in North America. Now I just pull my wire back down and get my socket back attached to the hickey. Which usually goes along with no trouble at all. And I'll work this knot back down to where it will pull nice and snug against that cord protector, but without leaving a lot of excess wire inside the lamp. That should be good. This is Bronze Age for the Secret Underground Laboratory Recovery and Salvage. Thank you for watching this video on how to rewire a student lamp. And we'd really appreciate it if you would hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already. Any comments or questions, I'm welcome them all. And I'll respond to anything about furniture, lighting repair, or whatever else is on your mind. So, again, thank you for watching.